Everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how you can map white to green lookup table on live camera preview as well as for image capture in React Native's new architecture for Android. So let's get started. So firstly you need to have this documentation handy because we will be copying a lot of code from this documentation. So as usual you need to create a React Native application first, and you can use basically this particular command. Like I said, this is only for Android, so we don't require CocoaPods. That is for iOS. And instead of demo you can write your own project name. I have written it as test app, but it's up to you whatever you want to write it over here. Now what I would recommend is don't run this particular command. We'll create all these folders. Basically it is creating these folders, so we'll create all these folders manually because we can't really use WebView over here. In this documentation they have given an example of WebView, so that's why they have written WebView everywhere. But in our case we will be creating camera, right, for live camera preview. Also one more thing which I want to make it clear at the very start of this tutorial, I am using React Native version 80, which is the latest at the time of me recording this video. And second thing is all the code related to camera and mapping white to green lookup table is done via native code with the help of Kotlin. So I'm not using any third-party library for this because there is no such third-party library which, at least at the time of me recording, which can do this particular scenario. So first what we can do, so here you can see this is the folder structure of our project. So first we need to create the specs folder. So I'll just minimize everything first. So here you can see I have created this specs folder. Ignore this TypeScript file, we'll come back to this in a bit. Just create this specs folder. Next it says that create a WebView folder inside java.com, right? But in our case, instead of creating a WebView folder, I have named it as my camera. You can name that whatever you feel like, but it's important you remember that name because that name will be used everywhere else in your TypeScript code as well as in your native Android code. So if you're doing this for the very first time, it's better you follow what I am doing. So just go to app src main java.com, and here you can see I have created a folder called my camera. But like I said, it's up to you to name it whatever you feel like. I would recommend just follow what I'm doing. I have named it as my camera. Next, if you see inside the specs folder, they have created this TypeScript file, so we need to create the TypeScript file as well. Again, the name should be whatever is our package name which we created over here. So my camera followed by native component.ts. Now this native component is very important because we need to do some code generation stuff. Otherwise React Native won't know how to do code generation if you don't write the native component inside your TypeScript file. In the meantime, what I'll do, I'll just cd to the test app inside my terminal as well because we need to run few commands later on. Now what I have done is that I have basically copy pasted this particular bit of code inside my TypeScript file, but I have made few changes. So firstly, this is same, but I have changed this from WebView to my camera. Okay, here we have created this event handler, but here you can see I have changed it to on image taken. They have done something else. So firstly we are not passing any props, but we require a callback whenever an image is taken so that we can display that image inside an image view. That's why we have this callback on image taken, and the callback will only have the image URL. That's why I have taken this result of type string. Okay, and here I have imported everything. So yeah, that's all there is to it, nothing else. So again I'll just simply scroll through this, and here you can see I'm configuring CodeGen over here. So if you go to package.json over here, I have literally copy pasted everything from the documentation. Only thing is, instead of WebView I have changed it to my camera over here as well as over here. Once you do that, there is one step which is missing in the documentation. You need to run npm install because we have made changes in our package.json file. Once let it do its thing, then we need to cd to the Android folder. So just do this, cd to Android, and then you need to run this. So I have already ran this previously, but again I am running it just for the sake of it. So now this will do code generation, so let it do its thing. Okay, so next if you see, they tell us to create this actual like the implementation, right? So in our case it would be the camera implementation, so we can't really copy this code. But before we write this, we need to add the camera X dependencies as well as the media 3 effect for mapping the white to green lookup table. So first you need to go to build.gradle.kts, you need to go to dependencies, and here you need to add this camera X core. camera 2, camera life cycle, camera view, then a camera media 3 effect, which is still an alpha at the time of me recording this video, but if it does become stable, make sure you use the stable version. Then Android X media 3 effect as well. Then you need to go to Android manifest.xml, and here you need to add internet permission, uses feature of Android hardware camera permission, as well as write external storage permission as well. So this you need to add. Then you need to so we have already created this my camera, right? First you need to create this react my camera.kt. Now firstly, this should be your own package name. Okay, now there are a lot of imports, so feel free to pause the video and just copy all these imports which are there. I'll simply scroll through this file. Then here we have this theme react context. Here is our camera, this is the camera preview, and this will be the image capture event. Now here is our capture button. This viewfinder is basically the camera preview. Here we initialize our camera executor as well as the process camera provider. When we are taking hold of the back facing lens, here we get hold of our current activity as well. Then inside the init we initialize our viewfinder, and here we are calling this method. So this is basically a hack. So there has been an issue open in the React Native repo for the past 6 to 7 years now, and they have still not fixed it. That's why we have to use this hack. I'll show you this actual implementation in a bit. Again, that I have copied it from a GitHub repo, which I will show you that as well. So here we add our viewfinder, then here we initialize our button and set layout params to that as well. Here we add click listener to our button as well, saying take photo. Then here we override on attach window, and if it has permissions, then we do viewfinder.post set up our camera. Then here we do on detach from window, and here we shut down our camera executor, unbind our camera provider as well. Now this is the hack which we have to do, and if you want, you can go to this particular URL to understand more about it. The problem is, if you don't do this, you will see just a black screen with no camera X being displayed. That's why we need to do this particular stuff. Then here we have setup camera, where we do process camera provider, we add a listener as well. Then here we do bind camera use case. So here we get the width and height of our camera as well as the rotation, and here we get the back facing lens. Here we have the aspect ratio strategy as well as resolution selector. Here we initialize our preview view. Here we initialize our image capture as well. Then here is our use case group builder. Here we define the media 3 effect, and here you can see this is the code for mapping white to green lookup table. So here we define array within an array within an array. Then here we just loop over 3 times. That's what we do, and we just assign color to this as well. Okay, then here we assign green color, but like I said, instead of green you can use whatever color you feel like. That's why the tutorial is called mapping white to green lookup table. If you use some different color, you will have to use some different. Then here we set effects as well. Here we add this media 3 effect. We unbind our camera provider, we bind it to the life cycle, and then here we do viewfinder.surface provider as well. Then here we call take photo. So here we pass simple date format. Then here we have content values.apply for taking the photo, and here we have the output options as well. And once the user takes a photo, the callback comes over here, and we get the image URL over here. Now to send it back to React Native side, we have to use this emit on image taken. Like this again is a little bit complicated unnecessarily, but that's how React Native works. Then here we unbind our camera provider. Here I have just helpful method just to check whether we have the camera permission or not, and here we have this file name format tag. Here you can see this is the method which you have to write whenever you want to send a data from native Android side to React Native side for a Android view. So this I have copied it from the documentation a bit, but I have refactored it. Here you can see they have given it like this, but I have refactored it to match our own use case. So this is what we are doing over here, and this is the on image taken event as well. Okay, so make sure this I think we have defined it inside the TypeScript file a little bit differently. So if you see, we have this on image taken, so that's what we are writing over here. So yeah, make sure you add all this stuff as well. Then we have this React my camera manager. So if you see over here, just let me show you, they tell us to create this manager class. So again we are doing this React my camera manager.kt. Now this you can mostly copy it from the documentation, but few things we need to change. We don't have this prop, and we also have this little bit differently. So here you can see, firstly we pass our package name. These are all the imports which I have. Then here you can see we are again, like I said, I have copied it from document. Everywhere wherever it is web view, I'm writing my camera. So everywhere wherever it is web view, I'm writing my camera over here, So yeah, that's all we are doing. And here we also have this particular bit of stuff as well, so on image taken as well as on image taken capture. So yeah, that's what all we are doing. So yeah, feel free to copy this. Next we need to create this package class as well. So if you see the documentation, I'll scroll down. Here you can see they have asked us to create this package class as well, so that's what I'm doing now. This also I have mostly copied it from the documentation, but I have made changes accordingly. So firstly, this is our package name. These are all the imports which are required. This is our React My Camera package, and here we initialize create view manager as well as get module and get React module info provider as well. Now one thing which I want to highlight is in the documentation they have, okay, I think they have fixed the documentation finally. Till yesterday they had this underscores over here, but I think they have fixed it. We don't require any underscores, so yeah, thankfully they have fixed it, which is a good thing. So yeah, you can just copy paste it. And the last thing is we need to add this inside our main application as well. So if I come over here, I'll go to test app, I'll go to main application.kt, and here we import React My Camera package, and we just add this React My Camera package as well. So yeah, that's all we do over here. Then here inside app.tsx, so let's see how to use it. So here we have this app.tsx. If you see these are all the imports, so you can first copy paste all these imports. Then here we have a variable or a set or a state for image URL, one for whether the camera permission was granted or not. Here I'm just checking whether the platform, whether the user is using Android 10 or higher, because on Android 10 or higher we don't require the write external storage permission, we only require camera permission. So here I have defined a method to request appropriate permission depending on the Android version, and if permissions is granted, then we just set the camera permission, this state as true as well. Okay, so that's all we are doing over here. And inside use effect we just called request camera and storage permission. Then when image URL is not equal to empty, then we just display the image using the image element. And here I have one variable called is camera permission granted. So here we are displaying our camera because the image URL is equal to empty, right? And but it is displayed only if the camera permission is granted. If that is also not granted, then we just display a text saying camera permission not granted. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Now let's see the output. If you again like have any questions, do let me know in the comments. This is the output, so I'll just play the output just to show it to you. So I have recorded the output, sorry about here. I'm asking the camera permission, I'll give it. And here you can see so the green color thing which you see, this is like mapping white to green lookup table. I'll click on the capture button now, and here you can see the image has been displayed. So yeah, that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, like I said, do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.